This week on What in the World is Going On, our warplanes can reach Iran. Israeli minister warns amid nuclear talks. So stay tuned, friends. We at the Friends of Israel Gospel Ministry reported that on April 30th of this year, informing you that an Israeli cabinet minister sharpened his country's warnings against what it would deem a bad new nuclear deal between Iran and world powers, saying a war with Tehran would be sure to follow. We went on to report that as Joe Biden explores a possible U.S. return to the 2015 deal to contain Iran's nuclear program that his predecessor Donald Trump abandoned, Israel has stepped up calls for more sweeping curbs to be imposed on sensitive Iranian technologies and projects. Israeli intelligence minister Eli Cohen said, "A bad deal will send the region spiraling into war. Anyone seeking short-term benefits should be mindful of the longer-term consequences." Mr. Cohen went on to say that Israel will not allow Iran to attain nuclear arms. Iran has no immunity anywhere. Our planes can reach anywhere. Our planes can reach everywhere in the Middle East and certainly Iran. Of course, friends, Israel all along has warned Iran and the world that it will not allow the Iranian regime to acquire nuclear weapons that would threaten the existence of the Jewish state. Under the former Trump administration, tough sanctions were applied to Iran to send them a strong message that the U.S. stands with Israel. However, presently, we see Iran is flexing its muscles once again as it smells weakness within the Biden administration. And as a result, friends, the war drums are beating louder and louder with each passing day. It's sad to see where the regime in Iran wants to take their country, that they're more interested in the destruction of Israel than in helping their own people. And that really reminds me of Daniel chapter 10, where we read that Daniel's prayers were hindered for 3 weeks by the prince of Persia. Speaking of either Satan himself or of his demons. And I believe, though, friends, that this same spirit, the Prince of Persia, that same spirit is alive and well within the Iranian regime today. Ahmadinejad, Iran's former president, repeatedly called for Israel's destruction and called them a dried-up, rotten tree which will be annihilated with one storm. Iran's current president, Hassan Rouhani, he said that Israel can never feel safe. And of course, the Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran's supreme leader, tweeted in 2018 that Israel is a malignant, cancerous tumor in the West Asian region and that it has to be removed and eradicated. It is possible and it will happen. Sorry, guys. No, it's not going to happen because the God of Israel has promised in Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 35 and 6. Let me read that for you. God says, "Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever." In other words, friends, as long as the sun, moon, and stars are shining in the sky and the natural ordinances and function of this world are intact, the God of Israel says that Israel will never cease from being a nation before him forever. So you know what? The Iranian regime, if they want to get rid of Israel, they ought to start pointing their desired nukes at the sun, moon, and stars because it's the only chance they're going to have to take out Israel. But until then, watch your back, Iran, because the God of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. So until next time, friends, this has been What in the World is Going On with the Friends of Israel Gospel Ministry. Have a great night.